Hi there. Today, I'll be talking about my political communication research project. In this video, I will briefly introduce my written project by answering a few questions that were handed by Professor Strangelove. First one being, what type of political communication did I use? I used an ethnographical approach, which was suggested by Dr. Strangelove, and turned out to be a great approach to further understand the research question and other parts of the project. Now, in terms of my research question, the one I chose had to do with the role technology and social media had to do with each candidate. This is a very broad question, so I kind of brought it more into three subcategories, which has to do with how they use social media and technology in their presentations, in their everyday work life, and also how they would use it throughout campaigns. This was a fascinating question, and it brought in some really interesting results that kind of varied from one spectrum to the other. In terms of the field sites, our classrooms were mostly the field sites that were used. Luckily enough, our speakers and our politicians decided they were going to come into our beautiful classroom to talk to us instead of having us going to them. In terms of the method of data collected, I used a qualitative method, which was basically note-taking. These politicians would come into class and I had my laptop and I would just write as many notes as I could, from 5 to 7 pages worth of notes per presentation. This was a good way of doing it, in my opinion. Our professor gave us a template which we could have followed, but I chose to write my own stuff, and then after I would use this template to further organize my notes, because sometimes they were a little bit messy given I was just writing throughout the whole presentation. Now, in terms of method and analysis, it's simple. I was, as mentioned before with the main question, I used subcategories to then find similarities and differences between the different candidates and their approach to technology, which was fascinating. My main findings is that given the time and age which we are, everything is switching to a more digital version, and everything turns out to be all about technology and using technology to your advantage. However, in politics, there is still an important aspect of it that does not require technology as much as one would think. What I mean by that is that a lot of the population that is voting are elderly people, which means that technology is not necessarily the best tool for a politician to use to reach these people. He still needs to do the old school, go door to door and have these meetings and all these other face interaction and written pieces in the papers and other tactics. So the whole using technology to your advantage can certainly be an advantage, and it is, and it will be as we go on. But right now, there is also still a pocket of success that can be achieve without necessarily understanding the whole social media and technology side as much as other fields might need. Overall, I'm happy with this project. I thought it was fun. I think it was nice to have a better understanding of politics, given that it was the Canadian elections not that long ago. So overall, I think I'm happy with this, and I've been feeling pretty good about this whole project from the get-go. The importance of my project, I think it's important to understand that technology will change politics, and slowly does in some ways. But my project also allows people to have a perspective on the amount of change that is happening now, and whether it is as big or as small as one would expect. So overall, love doing this project. It was a lot of fun. It was a great class, and I look forward to handing in the written component of it next Monday.